Happy Monday indeed. Welcome, welcome. I see Jeff Jesse's first, Richard is second, and I mean, as they say, first is the worst, second is the best.
Hey, Jeff Jesse. Hey, Richard. Happy Monday. Happy. Oh, and all the best people are here.
CLJ. I call him CLJ. I chant his name. Chris Lane Jones, everybody. It is great to see you. Or punch your face. Okay. Anyway, coming in hot. That's Jeff.
Say, somebody woke up and chose violence this morning. I love it. I love it.
That is Jeff. But Jeff is not the guest of honor, and I know somebody in here does not choose violence every morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the gloriously shaved.
Accidentally shaved, you mean?
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Andrew Maclean, everybody. Andrew, why don't you give us a brief little introduction?
Hold on, I want to do my applause. I never get to use this on my board. Let's see if I can do it. Oh
hell yeah!
All right, hold on. Let's see. I won't be able to hear it, but y'all will. Where are you hiding? Applause. Can you hear this? I'm really hoping you can.
Is it? There. Let me know when you press it. There it is. There it is. Yeah.
We got it.
Yes. That is amazing. You got, what kind of board is that? Tell us about your tech.
Yes, it's a Rodecaster Duo setup. So yeah, it's just like the built-in.
It's got the built-in sound effects.
The built-in sound effects.
You got to show me that setup sometime because I have been dying to do that. I want that so hard. I do. Everyone's shouting out your glasses, bro. The spectacles are on point.
I love it. And at some point, I was going to pull out my multiple pairs, but I have got many pairs. We've got, and I've upgraded too. I upgraded to neon pink now. We got neon pink. Green is still in the circle, but we also went baby blue, which I feel like is really the glasses of the summer. That's really the next level.
Nice. That really brings out your eyes, huh? Yeah. The beautiful glow of that alabaster skin.
That I was gonna say, and honestly, I do feel like clean shaven. For the moment that I'm clean shaven, the glasses pop even more.
They really do. They really do.
Yeah. By the way, we were chatting about this before chat. This was an accidental shave, and people don't appreciate this. You got to be paying full attention if you are shaven, because otherwise you accidentally shave. And I can't pull off a goatee. I've tried it. I did the Howie Mandel for a little while. It was not a good look for me. I shaved the whole head actually because I accidentally did something there too. So there's an image out there somewhere on the internet that is just me bald with like this little goatee, and it is
interesting. We're gonna have to track that down, Roxy, if you want to get on that. And shout out to Roxy. I see you just popped in. Michael is here. Michael just had a little baby.
Congratulations.
Congrats on the baby there, friendo. Yeah, I think, at least from the male perspective, a lot of us can relate to the facial hair mishaps. Yeah, it's tough. It's part of life, though. You live and you learn. And fortunately, most of the time, it grows back. It'll always grow back. So you got your round of applause. Your self
round of applause.
Yeah, your self round of applause.
I'm so sorry, Murray. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. But why don't you introduce yourself? Give us your kind of introduction that you give people. What is it? Let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm like an accidental tech guy. I feel like, hold on, actually, hold on a second. I wrote this recently. I got ChatGPT to help write this for me, and I'm gonna read this out because this is my moment.
I love that. Let's go.
I should have had this prepared. I'm sorry, chat. Just bear with me. This is where we vamp as an Andrew. I'm gonna vamp. Oh, there I am. Learn more. All right, Here it is. All right, are you ready for this?
All right, let's go. Is this on AndrewMaclean.com, by the way?
This is not, but I need to upgrade to AndrewDMaclean.com.
Yeah.
Also, I can't be Andrew Maclean. There's a really famous cartoon, like comic book artist named Andrew Maclean, and he claims all of the Andrew Maclean-y things. I know. It's super sad. But here we go. All right, let's copy this.
Do it.
Boom. All right. Clip this. Be prepared. Notes.
Okay, here we go.
Oh my God. I love that I'm trying to do this and the site is glitching out.
Always.
All right. So stay tuned with me, chat. This is going to be spectacular. You're going to love this so much. It's definitely going to be worth the wait. All right, here we go. See more speakers. I'm like going to my speaker profile for Signal to find my own bio. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
No. Here we go. It's going to happen. You are going to really love this. Andrew Maclean. Let's see. Are we going to get our learn more? No, we're not. Oh man, why is this killing me? Andrew Maclean. Oh, I know where to go. I love chat. I'm going lots of places right now behind the scenes. Twilio.com blog. There are things happening. I can vamp and Google at the same time. I can definitely do that.
Multitasking.
Lift off. It's going to be worth it. I promise you at the end of this, it is going to be so worth it because I put a lot of work into writing this along with my good friend ChatGPT. All right, here we go.
Here he goes. Here we go.
All right, hold on. Let me just.
Where's your drum roll, man? You got a drum roll on that board?
I do have a drum roll. All right, here we go. Andrew is equal parts tech enthusiast, educator, and the kind of person who can't resist pressing buttons just to see what happens, sometimes even twice. A former classroom teacher with nearly a decade of experience crafting learning experiences for techies of all ages, he traded chalkboards for keyboards of the tech industry in 2020 and hasn't looked back. Since then, he's worn many hats: community manager, developer advocate, and now developer educator at Twilio, where he helps developers connect the dots between imagination and implementation. When he's not building or breaking things with tech, you'll find Andrew soaking up the West Coast vibes on Vancouver Island, Canada, where he tries and often fails to look outdoorsy. Bam! Killed it.
Okay, wait, round of applause. That was... You got to shake the finger more, apparently. More hands, more spirit fingers. And Michael comes in. Brutal.
Wow. You know what? I'm here for that. I'm here for a little bit of trolling. I feel like that's what we're looking for.
Well, you also have to say, not to be confused with Andrew Maclean, I'm the Andrew that gives you the D. Because you got the Andrew D. Maclean.
This is a different kind of podcast. All right.
Oh, wait. That's a different bio. That's my bad. Different bio.
Welcome to Monday, everybody.
Welcome to Monday. We are
starting off strong.
What kind of conferences are you going to with that bio? Anyway, what is up? I see Linda's here. Jordan's here. Andrew. Okay, yeah, it's not Tech Commute After Dark. Sorry, guys. I'm spicy today. I am spicy. Let's talk about your journey a little bit. You touched on it there, but why don't you kind of start us off like way before Tech Andrew?
Love it.
What was Tech or non-Tech Andrew doing? Like, what'd you go to school for? Did you go to school? Like, what was little Andrew's life like?
Ooh,
let's start at way back. Let's start at the formative years.
Childhood. Tell me about your mother. This is getting really weird, really early in the day. So we'll go a little bit fast forward. So I actually went to university, my first degree. I had been really into law, and I've been really into science. And I had actually gone to study forensic science at university. So I did my first degree was actually a Bachelor of Science in Forensic Science. So my goal was to be like, this was when CSI was still on the air and was really hot. And if you have never seen CSI, if you are too young, you're never too young to watch CSI because it is timeless. It is ageless. It is glorious. So that's what I went to school to do. And I graduated around the time of that, like, economic, like what was it, like our one, like number 2 of our like major economic like slowdowns in North America. And so there was like no work. And I remember actually, even before I graduated, my final class, like not the final class, but one of the final courses in the final month, there was somebody who came into our class who was like an expert who hired people to like be cream of the crop. And he said, I'm really excited to be here. What are you guys all studying? And we said, oh, we're studying a Bachelor of Forensic Science. And he said, what is that? And I was like, oh, that's not a good sign. And so, not very many of us went on to do forensic science. So I did that and couldn't land a job in forensic science and went back to school to try forensics again and did a post-grad certificate in forensic accounting and fraud investigation. And then found out that I needed to be like an accountant to be able to do any of that stuff. So 0 for 2. But I was able to land a job my first adult job outside of university at a youth center because I'd been working with kids for like my entire kind of like high school and like university career. I'd been doing like summer camp programs. And I got hired, and I fundamentally think I got hired because I look like the kind of person that would build a website. And in fact, I was told that exact thing. They were like, "Hey, so we know the job that you got hired for was like this thing, but you look like the kind of person that knows their way around a computer." And I was both offended and seen at the same time. And
You always felt something was there.
I did. I knew there was something there. Yeah. So that's kind of where I started. And like, I always do this when I go on podcasts, I do this like 10-minute diatribe. So I'll pause there for a second. And then we can keep going.
That's that. So I love the dynamic between like you were interested in potentially looking at dead bodies and like crime to I'm really good with kids.
So I mean, this was the thing. Like so I really liked so I think the thing that I liked less than like more than the dead bodies was like I love puzzles, like I love problem solving, and it's I think a thing that attracts a lot of us to tech as well. But I loved this idea of like get a whole bunch of evidence together and then go and figure out who did it. And so that had really fascinated me. And then, yeah, honestly, the reason I kept getting jobs working with kids was I had worked, I'd been an air cadet when I was in high school, and I had like gotten the chance to like go and be like a kind of a senior leader at some of these summer camp programs. So had all that experience. And then every summer when I was looking for jobs, it was just so easy to find a job working with young people. So like I worked at like a residential camp where I was like a riflery instructor at a kids camp once, which was like air rifles. So it was super weird. I worked in a living history museum, sort of like wearing the costumes and pretending like I was an old timey. Yeah. And and then that first job was working as like a youth worker at like this rural drop-in youth center. And yeah, first job was like building this website in Zara Web Designer, which is like by the same guys that make Corel WordPerfect. So if you have no idea what Corel WordPerfect is, get on Wikipedia and Google it, because before Word was king, there was Corel WordPerfect.
Yeah, Corel had a whole suite of tools. I very much remember that. Holy cow! Yeah, Roxy says she hasn't heard that in a minute.
Right?
I have also not heard that in a minute. So talk to us about that. So the first opportunity arose. What the hell did you know about software development or like website design at that time?
Nothing. I hated it.
Yeah.
I loathed it. I had a terrible experience. I think the gym teacher at my high school was also the computer science teacher. He really loved gym. He really didn't like computer science. And like, I think I was doing Visual Basic, and we were like building like a calculator, and it's just like the most generic, boring thing to do it in. And for those of you who don't know, like Visual Basic was like kind of like a WYSIWYG, like drag and drop, like buttons on like a UI, and then you kind of program macros. So it was really simple, but it was super boring. And I got to the end and I was like, this is dumb. I don't want to do this again. So yeah, like when I had like, I'd played around with things before, and like I was always into technology, and like I had been like as I delivered this energy as well, I was like the soundboard guy for like the school band. So like anytime I have that vibe going for me too. I also played clarinet, so like I was really, really cool in high school, guys. And
hold on. What sort of tools did you learn at this point to fight all the women off?
What do you mean? Tools to fight them off? You can't fight off that many people. You just got to give in. You just got to give in.
I love that.
But I mean, yeah. So like, yeah, clarinet playing, technology loving, what else? No, I'm not gonna dig myself any bigger of a hole. Yeah, but it's funny because even that first website that I built, like I built it using a WYSIWYG. Like Zara was like a drag and drop, like it was kind of like low code, no code. And I remember a software developer joined our like volunteer group, and they came in and they looked at the code for this website, and they said, who wrote this? Because this is hot garbage. And they like completely rewrote it from scratch. Yeah.
That's hilarious. But to kind of speak about the low code, no code thing, how long ago was this?
Oh God, you're wanting me to age myself now. Hey,
You don't
so
have to say a
this,
specific date, but
no,
it was a
no,
little while
no,
ago.
I'll say this would have been 16 years ago. So this would have been, yeah,
Yeah.
like 2010, was kind of when I first started doing this stuff. And yeah, like things have obviously changed since then, and I
But
like
not
played it. Yeah,
much. But not
not much.
much. To your point though, you were using low no code tools 20 years ago, and they're still here. It's like it just kind of speaks to that whole like there's ebbs and flows in popularity of tools, but it's all still the same stuff. It's all still there.
Yeah,
All still there.
100%. And like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it was like, I think it was like outputting like XML or something like that in the end. And so it was just like their own proprietary version of that kind of stuff. So it was still markup. It was just slightly different. Um,
Somebody liked it.
the joke was good. The joke was good. It landed. I feel like we're starting Tech Commute after dark. We're starting the thing.
That might be our new thing. That might be our new thing. So, all right, guy came in, rewrote everything. What were the next steps there? Because honestly, I think a lot of people would have just been like, okay, well, this guy just totally shit on everything I did. I'm gonna go back to not doing this.
Yeah, I started a small business on the side. So as soon as this person came in and said like, "Oh, this is terrible," I was like, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start like a tech support business on the side." And so I'm working at this youth center, and I created this business, and it was called, and I still own the domain. I use it for personal projects. Called The Portable Geek was the name of the business, and my initial logo was terrible. It was like a kind of clip arty style like computer mouse that looked like kind of a futuristic car. I'll find it and share it
Yeah,
on social media
need
later.
that. Need that.
But that was it. And so I kind of did that, and I would like go in and do like the things that like you do when you're starting in tech support. So I would like go in and like dust off somebody's computer or like install something that like they could have installed themselves.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and I did that for a little while, and then I had been doing other stuff. I was a birthday party science entertainer for a little while as well, and started doing
Oh
some
my
tech stuff with
god.
them. So yeah, I used to do like Bill Nye like stage science
Yeah.
shows, which were so much fun. Um, and through that, I'd been kind of working further away from where I was and had kind of gotten connected into Ottawa. So I'm Canadian, by the way.
Yeah.
And so Ottawa is like sort of like the major metropolitan center that is this capital of Canada. And I'd been going further in there, and I kind of got the confidence of like, okay, I've been doing this youth work thing for a while. This like tech side hustle isn't really going anywhere. My degrees aren't doing anything. And so I applied for a job working at the Boys and Girls Club at this like inner city youth center, just like being a youth worker again, and kind of kept the techie stuff going kind of on the side as like this side hustle. And then things didn't really kick off actually until like probably like 2 years later. And my wife and I were like both in Ottawa, and we were like, I'm kind of bored of this. We want to do something new. She had like found a school here in Victoria, BC, so like opposite coast.
Yeah.
And she like was like, "Oh, this would be interesting." I was like, "Go and do that. Apply for that school," not thinking that she would apply and get in. And she like got in,
Wow.
and within like 6 months, we were like packing up our car and driving to a tiny island on the west coast of Canada where we knew absolutely no one. We rented a place sight unseen, and yeah, Victoria is really where the true kind of tech journey for me began.
Okay, awesome. Well, maybe talk, just kind of touch on that whole like trip. I mean, that's a very significant change in your life. What was that kind of like? I mean, just packing up everything, going all the way across country, this completely foreign situation. Like, how did you guys sort of manage that? And then where did that then transition to you going back, kind of deep diving more into tech?
Yeah, so it was kind of awesome. Like I feel like I when I got here, I think it was a little bit different because I had it in my mind of like, oh, all my connections are back there. So
Yeah.
like when we came kind of west, but at the time we were like, oh, this is new. Like we kind of had been not stagnating by any means, but like our careers weren't going super far forward. Like we could have stayed in our jobs for a while, but it was this like exciting thing. And like
Yeah.
our entire families were super supportive of us coming out here. They'd been out here. I was conceived on the island.
Oh.
Yeah. So fun fact.
Tech
I
Commute
returned-
after dark.
I returned to the motherland, and which my parents just did not ever miss an opportunity to remind me that I was basically like a salmon. And so it was really fun. We literally were driving in this like 2005 Hyundai Elantra, packed to the brim. We stayed in like seedy motels in the middle of nowhere. Driving across North America is like everybody should do it at least once.
Okay.
Canada, you could just go around us. I would say it's actually more interesting to drive through the US because like basically you have Ontario, which is a huge province. It's beautiful. There's like these mountain ranges and stuff. And then you hit like Manitoba, and Manitoba is just, oh, no. You just kind of close your eyes and cross your fingers until you get through there. And then you hit Saskatchewan and it's flat. And then you hit Alberta and it's flat until you hit the Rocky Mountains and then gorgeous again. But there's a lot of flat ugliness in between the mountains in Ontario and the mountains out here.
I just want to throw a little disclaimer out there. If you're driving cross country, don't close your eyes. Andrew, thank you for that. Also, you heard it here first, folks. Just skip Canada.
Just skip it.
That's what I heard. That was my takeaway. So has this always been something as far as like how you lean into the unpredictability of a situation, or do you prefer more planned events? Because this is a very big life change. Very spontaneous. A lot of people would probably be comfortable being comfortable. So what is this something that you've always wanted to do?
So it's funny. I remember Emily over the years has said like big things I will often like lean into, but it's like the small changes I don't like a lot. Like a lot of the time it's like I kind of want like I wake up every morning at 5:30 only because I have this process of like I get up, I make a cup of coffee, I go sit in that chair right there, and I watch
Smoke
the
a
news from the
pipe.
previous night. Right. And it's just like this kind of like ritual. And like if that gets disturbed, I'm like, oh, this is off for me. But then I could also be like, let's leave all of our friends and family behind and move to the west coast of Canada. I don't know. There's something exciting and there's something very cool about it. So, I would say like parts of me are very much like, I want to go and do this kind of crazy thing. But some parts of me are like, I also want to have my like, things that are pretty consistent.
Yeah, because I mean, I think a lot of people can speak to consistency being important. Schedules and like regular normal events like that you can kind of rely on. You don't want to always have unpredictability. That chaos can be chaotic.
True.
So you get there, you get settled in. Where again?
Where'd tech come in?
Where does tech come into all this, man?
Yeah, so I transferred my job. So my wife was going to school, and I transferred my job to another boys and girls club, but it was doing out of school before and after school care. And I was working with like inner city high school students in Ottawa, and like we were playing basketball for like 4 hours a night. I was in great shape. Like I was learning all the lingo, and then I transitioned that to like working with these 7 to 13-year-old kids in like the times that they don't want to be surrounded by anybody else before and after school. And I did that for about 2 months, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. And I got super depressed. And like we were living in like at the time this like basically converted hotel room that had like it was like 0 square feet. And so I did a thing that I had always been nervous to do. And I applied for a job that I did not think that I was qualified in any way for, but I thought looked really cool and was my vibe. And I was like, there's 0 chance that I'm going to get this job. And then like a couple days later, I get an email from them.
Wow.
Actually, like it's funny, the email, speaking of the other Andrew Macleans, they misspelled my email address. So my email address has D Maclean in it, and they had emailed Andrew Maclean without the D, and Andrew Maclean emailed them back to say, that's not me. You should reach out to the actual Andrew Maclean. So I have to thank Andrew Maclean for getting me the job that started me in tech. Yeah, and that job was running kids science summer camps at a university. So basically like tech science and tech summer camps. So it was kind of the perfect mix of like I love tech. I'd done this work with kids. It was at a university. And so that was kind of like my gateway into the world of tech. I'm taking a really long time to tell this story.
No, don't worry about it. That's the point. This is your opportunity
It's
to
a true
tell
commute.
these things.
Absolutely.
It
It's
really
a true
is.
commute. We're stuck in traffic right now, everybody.
We are, literally. This is just green screen behind both of us. We're in a car together. It's a Prius.
Yeah.
Don't bump my arm, man. Okay, so you started there. What was that like? I mean, kind of explain that. Like, how do you just kind of jump into this role, like structure a whole curriculum about something that you have? I mean, with all due respect, you have no idea what you're talking about. At
No,
this
no
point.
idea. Absolutely.
So what do you do? What are you doing? Were you scared? Like talk
I was
about like
oh
the
yeah
thought
I
process there.
I was absolutely beside I remember the first day that I got brought in and they were like, by the way, the reach of this program is 15,000 youth every year. And you will be managing a staff of like 25 university students. And I was like 25 at the time. So I've been out of university for like 3 or 4 years. So these people were not that much younger than I was. And they're like, you have a budget of like X $100,000 that you have to like manage and ensure. Here's your team. And then I was covering a mat leave for that time. And so it was basically, I had like 2 weeks with the person and then they left and I like did not want to disturb them on their mat leave. And so
God.
I was kind of on my own, but there was an amazing person there. And both Melissa, who was the person I was covering for, and then Wendy. And Wendy was sort of she had been the mother of a former like coordinator of this program who had stuck around and supported the program. So she just had all this knowledge and knew how to kind of talk. Like she was this like amazing source of wisdom. And she was like just this person that got me through. But yeah, I remember the way that I got through was I met with every single person I could. Within the first 3 months, I had booked like probably 50 to 100 meetings with people like around the university. And I was just like, who are you? How are you involved with this program? Tell me, like, who's your father? Who's your brother? Do we know any similar people? Like, what can I do to help you? What can you do to help me? And that was really what got me through was I just like, I got to know everybody and found out like what they did. So anytime I had a question, I didn't have to like reach out to one person and then play telephone. It was like, oh, I'm going to reach out to Sally because I know Sally does this thing.
Yeah, I mean, my question was going to be like, what was your reasoning or thought process as to how you were leveraging those like communications with people? I love that idea. How did that help you moving forward? And like, where were your biggest successes doing that?
Yeah. And so I think the main reason I did is because I was scared and I like talking to people. And I felt like the more people, like my thing when I get nervous or I don't understand something is I will call everybody I know. And I'm like, help me make this decision. And I'll talk to 17,000 people. And it tends to be the way that I kind of do a lot of things is like, I just want to connect with all the people. And so what was really cool actually was that experience in the first like 3 months there ended up getting me connected with the person who would go on to be my master's degree supervisor and also the co-founder of the boot camp that I built at the university, which was like my true, like what has landed me in tech where I am today was actually through those initial conversations that I had like years later kind of paid dividends.
That is awesome. And I love seeing like kind of the foreshadowing of all of it as we build up into that. Chris Lane Jones saying good idea, super network at new jobs. What do you still do that?
Oh yeah, when I joined Twilio, because it's a remote company, remote first company, and I met with everybody. I booked meetings. I joined in like mid-November, so like around U.S. Thanksgiving, and then we have like a company break in December, and so I literally booked meetings. I've met every single person except for some of the contractors on the entire sort of developer network where I work now. And then other folks as well, just because it was easy for me to understand what they did. And there was time. I didn't have any program responsibilities. So it was like, let's just go and meet people.
Yeah, that's awesome. And obviously being somebody that's like people facing in your role, it's very important to also know all of these people and be comfortable with doing that. Were you always comfortable with interacting like that?
No, I was like super shy. I was definitely not the confident person. I don't know at what point I realized that it was okay to kind of be silly and be like to embarrass yourself. But I've heard it since, like in the years since, and I'd be like, oh, maybe that's what I was thinking at the time. Like this idea of failing forward, like all the best people in the world failed. They say some dumb thing, and then that dumb thing is like the thing that you remember most about them, and it becomes like an inside joke. And so I think I realized at some point that I just kind of needed to do it, and it was going to be uncomfortable, but like, what was the worst thing that was going to happen? Somebody was going to think that I was dumb, right? I was in a university and I was dumb. I was way dumber than all of them. But that was okay because they were also like kind and wise and friendly and open. And so I needed to kind of get over that hump of being afraid that I wasn't good enough. And I'm still not fully there. I don't think anybody is. Like that imposter syndrome is bad in tech. It's even worse in academia. Yeah. Yeah. So, no, that said, my dad's like a minister. So like he literally like goes up on a stage went up on a stage before he retired, like once a week and just like professes. And so I've sent him a bunch of my conference talks and he's like, you got the gift. And I was like, yes, but mine.
Yeah, that's awesome though, because you've always had that there. You've always had that example of that. So maybe subconsciously it was kind of always there. You just needed that like breakthrough, that moment to kind of overcome the fear. I love that. I'm wondering, to Roxy's question, is the conference in May completely put on by Twilio?
Yeah, it is. So the conference that Roxy's talking about, by the way, fast forward, I guess we'll go to the middle part. I now work
Yeah.
for Twilio. I'm a developer educator at Twilio, which is this amazing customer experience platform that exists out there. You can Google it. We're doing a conference in May called Twilio Signal, and it's our like annual conference. So it's just Twilio, but there's speakers from like all the other places as well. Like we got speakers from OpenAI, from DataStax, from Google, from like all the big names you would expect. But yeah, it's our event.
That is awesome. I'm trying to get a link here to put for people to go check that out. Are they doing any virtual stuff for that as well, or is this all in person?
No, so we're not, but it's going to be around the world. So there'll be Twilio Signal in San Francisco, and then
Cool.
there's going to be we'll be in like London. We're going to be in, I think, Sao Paulo. We're going to be in somewhere in Australia. So like there's lots of signals going on.
Awesome.
Yeah. So definitely worth checking out if you're in the SF area or one of those other cities.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out. That'll be a great event for you there. So let's talk about this boot camp that you put together. Let's get back on that, because again, I'm like you're right at the edge there. But we haven't made the connection yet. And from there you kind of just ran. So I want to see where it all connects.
No, I love it. So yeah, I was running these youth summer camp programs. The person came back from their mat leave. I was lucky enough to be kept on and just to like support because they liked the work that I'd done. And then I had one of the people that was in the faculty of engineering at the time had kind of gone to this person who became my co-founder, was the chair of the computer science department. And they were like, hey, like, what would it look like to create a computer science boot camp for high school students to bring them into our undergraduate engineering program with a specific focus of bringing in underrepresented groups in tech, right? So if you don't know this, there's a big initiative in Canada called 30 by 30, and it's by like Engineers Canada, and it's all about sort of trying to bring the number of women in engineering up to 30%, which it's not close to yet. And a lot of areas in tech are even worse. Like there's some areas it's like 15%, 20%. And so this was built to kind of do that. And so Ulrika, my amazing co-founder and colleague, had been doing a lot of this work already, but was the chair of a department. And so she came to me and she said, we've worked together really good with these summer camps. Could you help me build this out? And so we did. We kind of conceptualized this thing. and talking about the going and meeting with people. The whole success was actually the same idea: go and meet with everybody. I came across a list on Google, which I'd been trying to meet with companies in town here, because Victoria's got about, I think, like 1,000 different tech companies in like our
Okay.
small little island. And I was like, I want to run these ideas that we're coming up with by people that actually do this. Cause like, yeah, we're trying to recruit for us, but like, shouldn't we be trying to be modern? And so I found this list of like every CEO in Victoria. And I emailed every single one of them and I said, hi, my name's Andrew. You don't know me, but I'm building this program at the university. I don't have any idea what I'm doing, but we've got an idea of what we think might be cool. Could I meet with you to talk about what this might look like? What would be the most successful? And most people ignored me. But I would say about 10 or 15 people didn't. And one of those people, which is probably like the craziest moment of my life, I went and pitched to this amazing company that was called Send With Us, which is now Dispatch. And I met with their like COO, or like their head of something at the time, who happened to be a teacher actually, and was working in tech. And I pitched this idea to him. I was like, we're building this boot camp. We want to do this stuff. And I got called back a couple days later, and I met with the COO, and he said, how much money do you need, man? And I said, I don't know, like $500 for some pizza. Like, we can probably make this happen. He's like, ask me for more money. This is a really good idea. He's like, you don't understand how expensive it is to recruit people in the tech industry. So if we can engage with these folks early and they're thinking of us as a place they want to go, it's huge. Like, you're saving us money. And he gave me, he wrote a check for me for $10,000. And then he had a friend that worked and was CEO of another company. And he said, reach out to my friend, Sean. And Sean gave us a check for $10,000. And that $20,000 actually carried the program through for like 5 years, with like other things we put on top of it. It was like the seed funding. We created a scholarship program, so people that went through the program could actually get a scholarship to the university. And then anybody in the first year that went through the program, we had mentors from these companies come in. And basically they were doing like a 6-week interview to identify talented young people. And then they hired them for like a high school internship at some of these companies. And they did amazing.
Wow. Holy cat. Dude, I'm looking at the comments here. That is amazing. Linda, holy crap, from Roxy. Where did you get the idea that you could pull something like this off?
I have no idea that I can ever pull anything off. I am the same guy who offered me that $10,000 has been my boss at multiple companies since.
Wow.
And I asked him once, I said, like, what is it about me that makes me be successful in this industry? And he said it in a really kind way, and then I'll translate it to the reality. He said, you're fearless. Like, you don't know what you're not supposed to be able to do, and you just do it and like figure the rest of it out later. And I'm like, I don't think that makes me brave. I think that makes me foolish. But I think this is the thing, is I have no idea what I'm supposed to be able to do. And so if it's not going to work out, I don't know. I don't know what that's supposed to look like. I don't know what this industry is all about. Like, I'm just trying things.
That's the sound bite right there, guys. That's it. Cut it. Cut it right there. What is it? Timestamp 38 minutes.
We got there.
That was it. I just, speaking to that point, I think we see a lot of people not understanding that, again, back to Aaron Francis's famous line, you can just do stuff. You don't know what the inevitable end result is going to be, whether you'll fail or succeed. But if you don't ever try, like Andrew, again, like, have you just kind of reflected on that moment for yourself?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like, honestly, like I've had, so Brad Van View, who's the guy that was at Send With Us, and then he was my boss at Battlesnake and at Dev Cycle when I went there a couple of years later. I talk to him all the time. We live literally 2 blocks away from each other in Victoria.
Oh, that's awesome.
And like, I'll have conversation. I'm like, what? Like, how am I here? Like, what's going on? Like, this is not where I thought that I would be at this point in my life and career. And he's just been such a huge cheerleader of like, you realize that like you're good at what you do. And I will say, if you're listening to this, Brad, or if you do, like Brad Van Vliet is probably one of the best mentors and like managers, bosses, CEOs that I've ever met in my life in this industry. He lifts everybody up around him. He is like the most innovative thinker, focused on family as well, like dedicates the time that he needs for the things that are important. I cannot say enough spectacular things about him. And if you want to find him, he's on all the channels. But he also runs growth stuff for Neon databases now.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, you'll have to put me in touch with him. I would like to meet him. The man that made Andrew Maclean with a D. They didn't make him with the D.
we're going after dark again.
After dark. Wow, I love that. Okay, so now we've done the boot camp.
Yeah.
Where did that go?
Yeah.
Like where again? Like we're still missing all these chapters here.
Yeah, I mean, not too much more now. So really, did the boot camp. It's hard. It was running. So you're basically an intrapreneur when you're building something in a university. So you get all the benefits of the infrastructure, but also the downsides of being in an infrastructure. So you can't move as agilely. And it got to a point where like there was a lot of pieces that I was moving against. And honestly, I think everybody in the startup world, when you're building something, sometimes you do get tired. And like I had seen people around me that I was like, you would be really good at this job. And I feel like I'm the kind of person that like has a crazy idea and I get it from like, there's nothing there to like a functional place. I'm not the scaling guy. Like that's not me. Like never hire me to like optimize or scale or build processes. I'll get things off the ground. I'll make all the introductions, but I'm not going to be the guy that builds it out. And I was like, we need somebody that can like grow this program.
How hard was it for you to walk away from that?
I mean, I never fully walk away from any job. I was tired. It was like during the pandemic that I left too. So like that had also kind of like put things in place, but we hired somebody that was absolutely amazing. And like, I had full trust that she would turn it into whatever it could be. And I was lucky because I literally kind of was like leaving that job. And then Brad had literally been starting a new startup called Battlesnake, amazing program. If you've never heard of it. And he was like, hey, we need somebody to be a community manager for us. I don't want to do social media. I don't want to run a Discord channel. I want to be an engineer and a CEO and raise money and build cool shit. Can you do all of the fluffy stuff that like, I don't want to have to deal with? And I was like, I mean, I'm not qualified, but sure. Why not? And and then so I was a community manager there for a couple of years, and then Battlesnake got acquired by DevCycle in 2020. Nice. 2024 or 2023. Okay.
And that's why you were at DevCycle then, essentially.
Yeah, and that's why I was at DevCycle. So I basically went from community manager, and I'd been doing some like DevRel things in addition. So I've been doing some conference talks and stuff like that. And then DevCycle kind of really got to put the pedal to the metal in DevRel, and and then spent the last kind of 2 years there, and like 5 months ago moved over to Twilio.
Awesome. Man, what an inspiring story. I mean, again, I feel like there's so many people that have sort of had similar trajectories of never touching tech, and they get the taste. And how important was it to your journey to have somebody that like believed in you?
I wouldn't be here. Like mentorship is it. Like that's it. That is this entire industry. Any career, but I think tech especially. Find somebody. They don't even need to be in tech. They just need to like believe in you as you're like going into this world. I feel so grateful that I had Ulrika in my life, that I had Marianne, who was my supervisor when I was in the STEM summer camps, that I had Brad, and so many other amazing people that I've met over the years that have just been like, you know what's up. Like, you know what's going on. I think that you can do this. And that gave me the like false confidence that I needed to kind of move forward.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, maybe someday for you, Linda. We're all friends here, and we all try to pick each other up. Linda, you're in our Discord. We love watching your streams. Keep it up. See, look at that.
We're honestly
picking everybody up.
It's a like 10-year journey. It's like an overnight journey that took 10 years. Like every startup you ever see that like is making it big, they were like tiny for a really, really long time. I met one the other day that I met when I was doing High Tech U, which was the name of the boot camp that I ran. And they had been doing this company off the side of their desk for like half a decade, and then
Wow.
overnight, and now they're like a multi-million dollar company with a staff of like 15 people. They just
It's
had to like
crazy.
stick with it. Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the word that I would tell everybody that kind of ties into what we've been talking about, because it's
Yeah.
like a teachery word. It's called self-efficacy. Have you heard this term before?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So
that's a
like,
great word.
yeah, if you haven't heard of this, self-efficacy is just the belief that you can do something that you've never done before. So it's like that is, I think, the big. It's like growth mindset and all the rest of it, but like that is, yeah. As long as you don't know it's
Yeah.
impossible,
I
absolutely.
love that. Thank you for that quote too, Linda. Phantom Toll Booth, is that what that book is? I feel like I read that when I was younger. I'm in tech for the opposite reason. People said I could not make it. Sometimes you need that though. Sometimes you need people to say you can't do something for you to prove wrong. Like some people do need that motivation too.
Yeah, you need a nemesis. I buy that,
That's right.
Chris. I buy that. I
Yeah.
feel like do you have more than one nemesis is the question.
Speaking of that, I did just open up my applications for anybody that's interested in me being their nemesis. Fill that out. It's at torque, cal.torque.dev. I'm kidding, by the way. So, just, I guess, again, like reflecting on your whole career path to where you are now, what's maybe like one shitty situation that you learned the most from? And then on the flip side of that, like, what would you say is your most successful moment that you'll like always take pride in?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this with some friends last night. I think when I took that job when I was running the summer camp, and even sort of the start to this whole idea, I was covering for a mat leave. I was young. I had a big, I didn't think I had a big ego, but when I look back, I definitely did. I wanted to, not a big ego, maybe. I had a big inferiority complex. And I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to prove my worth, that I deserved to be there. And I kind of like put blinders on and just like was pushing. And I kind of forgot about the people as in part of that process. And not in like a bad way that I was cutting people off at the knees and like that kind of stuff, but just like when you're so focused on like your own success and like ensuring that you are worthy, you forget about other things. And by the way, your self-worth will never be defined by the accomplishments that you have at work. And so it's kind of like a journey to nowhere. And anytime that I've ever gotten to the next plateau of like, this is where I'm going to be happy, I get there and I'm like, man, I thought I was going to be so happy here, like when I was back there, but now that I'm here, I'm not happy. And so that definitely, in hindsight, I look back and I'm like, I was trying to get to that plateau, and I should have been focused more on the journey rather than that destination.
I love that.
Yeah. And then, I mean, best moment. I've been so lucky to like run into folks that I've worked with, or like I'm a teacher as well, and I did that while I was doing all of this tech stuff as well. And so I meet students and former staff members that kind of come back and they're like on their journey somewhere, and they reach out and say like, hey, could like you be my reference? And I always book a call with them if I haven't seen them in a while, and just having conversations with these folks that I know that I've had some sort of an impact on is huge. And I mean, it's good for my
Yeah.
ego, but I'm also just like, okay, I put something out into the world that made it a better place, that wasn't just tech for tech's sake. It was like tech for people's sake.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Linda's coming in here. Would make it so much easier, excuse me, to job search if it didn't feel so personal, when it's definitely not to anyone else. Can you kind of talk on that a little bit? Like, how has sometimes the job hunt been for you, and how do you separate that?
Yeah. I mean, I've been on either side. Like when I was working at the university, I've hired probably 100 people now in various roles.
Hmm.
And I think it's not true, Linda. I think that it is personal. And if it's not, if you're just treating people as like a name on a page, it's hard, but you should like, that's not a great way to be doing these things. I think you kind of have to be looking there. So I'm sorry if that's a thing that you've experienced, like that really sucks and it's not the way you should be doing the hiring. I've been very lucky because I love the interview process and I love like going in and doing applications. Um, so early in my career, I definitely sent in a lot of things and never heard back. And I just don't think I ever really took it personally. I was just like, okay, I guess this is not the job that I'm meant to be in. But kind of the older that I've gotten, the more I've realized that the resume is about 2% of what's going to land you the job. Like,
I'm really
bye. Um, it's like 2% of what's going to land you the job. What's really going to land you the job is everything you do around the resume. It's the things that you do to put on the resume. It's the people you know at the company. It's the like way that you engage with people. Um, and so I think you're right. People do kind of look at this application process as being so inhuman. Make it human for them. Add the human into the mix, right? Like attend a webinar that they deliver. Make sure people know your name. Tweet something, right? Like
show up at their house.
Show up at their house. That's it. Go into the street and shout their name and see if they show up.
Swim in their pool, steal their toothbrush, clone them, train that person to then hire you and take the other one out. It's fine. It's a little bit of a process, but that's what I got from what Andrew
That's
said.
it. I love it. That was
Life hack. Can you talk about maybe how you approach like the job market right now? And we have tons of people in here that are looking. Obviously, the market is very in flux. We're seeing still a lot of layoffs and everything. Like, what would your approach be right now? Besides, again, adding that human element back to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've heard a lot of folks talk about like spray and pray, like apply for any job that even piques your interest. I found focus on places that like the job actually excites you because that comes across in every way that you apply. It comes across in the resume and cover letter that you write. It comes across in the interview if you're really excited to be there. So really my kind of job search when I've been applying for things has always been like, I'm genuinely excited about some piece of the company, not necessarily all of it. I might not even necessarily love the job that I've applied for, but I might love the people that work there, or I might love the company and like what they stand for. Find the thing that you love at the company. And if you can't find it, it's probably not a place that you're going to be successful in the interview process, just because probably somebody does love some piece of this company. And yeah, you don't need to love a company because I realize it's a job, but also like this is going to be the thing that you do for like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, for however many years. So
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Culture, like the vibe. The interest in just doing the job period, I think, is super important. Like, I don't, when you get to a certain point though, and you kind of have to stave off the desperation, I think a lot of people will just apply and take whatever they can get. But I feel like those are the people that are going to end up not being there very long because they're going to realize that their hearts aren't there.
But I do think that even in those situations, find something that you can be passionate about the company. Like, even if you're like, listen, like McDonald's, right? Like McDonald's is a job that a lot of people have. Is everybody super excited to work at McDonald's? Maybe not, but maybe you're like, I look really sick in like whatever color t-shirt that they wear most of the time. And you're like, that can be the thing. Like, I love your uniforms. They're amazing. Or like, I love your mascots, or I love your food. Maybe food is probably top of the list, but like, I would say every job I've ever had, even if I haven't loved the job, I've been able to find some piece about it that was like, and this is a terrible teachery thing to say, but it was like my why. It was like the why that I was in this place.
No, I mean, dude, the why. The why is everything. The why is like such a driver. Do you have any advice maybe for anybody that's not Canadian and as nice and positive as you?
You can always jump over the border. It's not very far. It's pretty easy to get in, actually. You can swim across in like New York State. You can just like swim across St. Lawrence, like a kilometer long. In BC, there's a bridge, so you don't have to swim. I work for a US tech company now, right? Like I work for Twilio. They're US based. I really do think that, I think that again, I don't know if I would say the positivity is something you need to deliver, but Roxy said it in the chat, like fake it till you make it. Like fake the joy and then find the joy is really important.
Oh, there
but
you
also,
go.
yeah, fake the joy, then find the joy. And I mean, also, you need to like apply for things that you're not qualified for. because you probably are qualified for it, and the person that they write down on these job postings are like the perfect person, which doesn't exist in the real world most of the time.
That's true. That is so true. And again, take the chance. Back to your whole mantra of just like stepping out and doing the things that you don't know you can do. Like you don't know unless you try.
Yeah. And maybe you can't. Maybe you can't do
Yeah.
it. Like maybe you are like me. Listen, I was for a brief period of my life, I was a server at a Boston Pizza, which is a big Canadian pizza chain. I should never be a server. I would make an amazing host. I could sit people down and smile at them when they're trying to find their seat. I can give them their water. Don't get me in charge of like trying to plan out when
It's
food
the
should come out.
tray. It's
It's
the
the
tray,
tray.
isn't it?
It's all of it. It's all of it. There's not a single piece of me that's good at being a server. But I needed to do it to
I
discover that.
exactly. I can totally see you with like a seven top. You've got the big tray. Everybody's got the full plates, and you just lean forward a little too much. It's fries all over the dad, and the grandpa got a milkshake in his lap. Ugh, that's intente.
Were you
Also,
there? Were you in the room when
yeah,
that
I was
happened?
there. I was. I was the little boy at that table, Andrew. That's why I'll never go to Canada again. You scarred me. Boston pizza.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a Boston in Canada?
There is no Boston pizza.
There's no
There's no
Boston in
Boston pizza. It's
Yeah.
literally named after Boston, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the guy that owns it is named Jim Treliving. So if you ever watch Dragon's Den, like the Canadian Shark's Tank, like the guy that founded it is like
Yeah.
along with what's the one that you guys all know? The one that was on Shark Tank and he's the Canadian guy, Mr. Wonderful.
Oh, I don't know.
Never mind.
I only see clips of Shark Tank, so I don't know who they
There you
are.
go. Fair, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Boston Pizza, a Canadian brand where there is no Boston.
Wow, that's ironic. It is Kevin something, Linda says. I think we've got a couple minutes left here, and I really just again wanted to say thank you to everybody in the audience, but obviously thank you to Andrew for hanging out with us for a little bit today and just telling us a little bit more about what got you to where you are. I mean, that's the whole point of these things, and you made some really great points. I love it. Roxy brought it up earlier, and I was going to avoid it because it's obviously still pretty touchy subject, but do you want to talk about what happened in Wisconsin in the hallway?
I do. So here's what I'll say is you always need to have a couple of Canadians. Well, maybe, I don't know. There were Canadians that were in that group. No, wait. Oh, we're talking about something very different. I was so nice to Roxy. I was just the nicest. Go to conferences just so that you can insult someone and then just plead for forgiveness immediately afterwards. That is what happened in Wisconsin. Andrew put his foot in his mouth. He failed backwards that time, but we formed a bond. So maybe I did fail forward.
I think I think you did fail forward because you know what, we forged some friendships that will never go away, unlike the beer that you took away from us.
It's true. I stand by the fact that I was the responsible one in that group, even though the next day far more was being given out. For context, you do go to conferences sometimes and they give away like different swag items, and some conferences you go to and it's beer. And this happened to be one that had beer. There's always people take extra swag. Well, you take extra t-shirts, you take extra socks, and there were some folks in Wisconsin that decided to take some extra beer. And I, being the responsible, childless one of the group, decided to play dad and scold a group of grown adults in the tech industry and force them to return the things that they had taken, for which I think I'll forever be known as dad, at least in some small circles.
I agree. That was one of the most humiliating walks of shame I've ever had.
The killer thing, chat, by the way, was the next day they had so much extra left over that they were giving like packs of it to people to take home with them because they had bought too much.
Yeah, there was just so much of it. It was wild. It was a great time, though. That was my first time meeting Andrew, and we had some really, really great conversations, and I knew that we would be forever friends after that moment, even though you're Canadian. All
Sorry.
right, one last one last question here for you, and I'll drop your andrewdmclean.com, all of his socials, all of his up and coming events, anything you can find him at is all located there. So make sure you go check that out and follow him on all the socials. Tell him you saw him in the Tech Commute and it was a really great conversation, even if it wasn't. What does success look like to you, Andrew?
Ooh, that's a good question. Ask me in like 30 years. Trying, success is trying. Like, honestly, there is no real thing that is going to have you define success. It's all personal. Try, go out and do the thing, do hard things. Just try, just do it. I don't,
Do
that's
hard
you. Can I
things.
just do it? That's a good,
Yeah.
should I trademark that?
Well, hold on. Let's see. Just
I
do
don't think
it.
anybody has just do it.
No, I've never heard that before. So I
Yeah.
love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
absolutely. I think it's a good logo. That's going to be me. So just
I
do it.
think you get the like a glasses, just like a glasses silhouette, and then it says "Just do it."
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, just do it with a D. It's
After
like
Dark,
Andrew
coming
Maclean.
next year, 2026, everybody.
Oh man, this was really great, man. Any shout outs real quick you want to give, and we'll give the people the rest of their day back.
No, I mean, shout out to you, Jason. Like, we've been trying to do this, by the way, chat for like many, many months, and then I like had like a new job, and then like I was in San Francisco, and so Jason, thank you so much for being patient with me, and for giving me the chance to be on here. Chat, thank y'all for being here, like genuinely for hanging out for a little while. A lot of you have met in person, a lot of you I haven't. Hopefully, we will soon. Please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out. This whole industry is about connections. Reach out. I have an open calendar. You can find it on my andrewdmclean.com. Book some time. I'm always happy to chat, share some connections, share my journey. And Jason, thanks for just being a lovely, lovely human being.
You as well, my friend. It was really great seeing you. We'll have to do one of these off the books too, and just catch up because it's been a while.
100%.
Oh yeah, and come to Render. Roxy says come to Render, so just do that. Twilio usually has a booth, so make it happen.
We're not at Render this year. Not at Render.
You son of a bitch. That sucks. Well, we'll catch up some other time. Everybody in the chat, we've got a bunch of stuff going on this week. Head over to cal.torque.dev to check out the calendar. Make sure you sign up for your reminders. And I'll be back next Monday. I don't remember who my guest is. Oh, actually, I think it's canceled because Lane Wagner, the founder of boot.dev, the educational platform, was supposed to be my guest, but he is having a baby. So we're going to reschedule, but we'll figure out a stream either way. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. You know where to find me in the Torque Discord. Otherwise, remember, it is nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And at all costs, avoid being Canadian. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.